World War I saw unimaginable carnage. The scale of destruction was unlike anything the world had ever seen before. Millions of soldiers and civilians lost their lives in the brutal conflict. The Western Front was a stalemate. Trenches stretched for miles, creating a deadly no-man's land between the opposing forces. Soldiers lived in these trenches for months, enduring horrific conditions. Machine guns mowed down attackers. These weapons were devastatingly effective, making any attempt to cross no man's land a near-suicidal mission. A solution was needed, a way to break the deadlock. Military strategists and engineers brainstormed tirelessly, seeking an innovative approach to overcome the impasse. The answer came in the form of the tank. This new weapon promised to change the dynamics of warfare. In 1916, the British unleashed the Mark I tank. It was a revolutionary design, intended to traverse the treacherous terrain of the battlefield. It was an armored monstrosity. With its thick steel plating, it could withstand machine gun fire and shrapnel. Slow and cumbersome, but it terrified the enemy. The sight of these behemoths rolling towards them was enough to instill fear and panic. The Mark I could cross trenches. Its caterpillar tracks allowed it to navigate the rough and uneven ground that had previously been impassable. Its machine guns caused havoc. The tank could lay down a withering barrage of fire, supporting infantry advances. It was a weapon of psychological warfare as much as a physical one. The mere presence of tanks on the battlefield could demoralize enemy troops. The French also developed tanks. They recognized the potential of this new technology and sought to create their own versions. Their Renault FT was smaller and faster. It was more agile and could maneuver more easily on the battlefield. It had a rotating turret with a cannon. This allowed it to engage targets in any direction, a significant tactical advantage. This design became the standard for future tanks. The concept of a rotating turret would be adopted by tank designers around the world. Tanks were never decisive in World War I. Despite their potential, they were still in their infancy and had many limitations. However, they showed their potential. The lessons learned from their use would shape future military strategies. The future of warfare had changed forever. Tanks would go on to become a cornerstone of military power in the 20th century and beyond. The horrors of World War I led to a period of reflection. Military theorists studied the lessons learned. Tanks had shown promise, but their limitations were clear. They were slow, unreliable, and lacked coordination. Designers went back to the drawing board. Engines became more powerful, armor became thicker, suspensions were improved. New tanks emerged, faster and more reliable. The Vickers Medium Mark II was a British example. It was faster and more agile than its World War I predecessors. Doctrines for tank use also evolved. B.H. Liddell Hart in Britain advocated for mobile, mechanized warfare. Heinz Guderian in Germany envisioned using tanks in concentrated formations. These ideas would have a profound impact on World War II. When World War II erupted, Germany unleashed a new form of warfare, blitzkrieg. This lightning war relied on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. At the heart of blitzkrieg were the Panzer divisions. These were independent units with tanks, infantry, and artillery. The Panzer IV became a workhorse of the German army. It was well-armed and reliable. German tank commanders like Erwin Rommel utilized radios for communication and coordination. This allowed for rapid decision-making and maneuver. German tanks dominated the early years of the war. They overran Poland, France, and the Low Countries. The Soviet Union, however, would prove to be a different story. The vast distances and harsh conditions of the Eastern Front took their toll. The United States entered the war with a different tank philosophy than Germany. American doctrine emphasized mass production and mechanical reliability. The M4 Sherman tank embodied this approach. It was not the most heavily armed or armored tank, but it was reliable and easy to maintain. Thousands of Shermans rolled off assembly lines. They were shipped to battlefields across the globe. The Sherman 75mm gun was effective against most German tanks in the early years of the war. Later versions mounted a more powerful 76mm gun. American tank crews were known for their aggressiveness and adaptability. They often faced German tanks that were superior in armor and firepower. But the Sherman's reliability and the sheer numbers produced proved decisive in many battles. Section 5 Island of Steel Tank Warfare in the Pacific Theater. The Pacific Theater presented unique challenges for tank warfare. Jungle terrain and island hopping campaigns limited tank deployment. The battles that did occur were often fierce and brutal. The M4 Sherman again served as the mainstay of American forces. It faced off against the Japanese Type 95 Hago and Type 97 Chiha tanks. Japanese tanks were often outmatched in terms of firepower and armor. However, Japanese tank crews were known for their tenacity and fighting spirit. Tank battles in the Pacific often took place at close range. The fighting was intense and unforgiving. The hot, humid conditions took a toll on both men and machines. Section 6. Cold War Confrontation. The rise of the main battle tank. The end of World War II marked the beginning of the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the United States. The Soviet Union and the United States emerged as superpowers, each vying for global influence and dominance. They engaged in an intense arms race, developing increasingly sophisticated weapons, from nuclear missiles to advanced tanks. Tanks were at the forefront of this competition, symbolizing military might and technological prowess. The concept of the main battle tank, or MBT, emerged during this period as a response to the need for a versatile and powerful armored vehicle. The MBT was designed to be a versatile, all-round weapon, capable of performing a variety of roles on the battlefield. It combined firepower, armor, and mobility, making it a formidable force in any combat scenario. The Soviet T-54-55 and the American M48 Patton were early examples of MBTs, setting the standard for future tank designs. Both sides produced tanks in vast numbers, ensuring they were ready for any potential conflict. They prepared for a potential conflict in Europe, where the Cold War tensions were most palpable. NATO and the Warsaw Pact faced off across the Iron Curtain, each side ready to deploy their armored divisions at a moment's notice. Tanks were a key element of their respective military doctrines, embodying the strategic and tactical thinking of the era. Section 7. Technology embraced, modern tank innovations. The Cold War witnessed significant advancements in tank technology. Tanks became faster, more powerful, and more sophisticated. Composite armor offered better protection against anti-tank weapons. Smoothbore cannons replaced rifled guns. They fired more accurate and powerful rounds. Advanced fire control systems allowed tanks to engage targets at longer ranges. Night vision devices and laser rangefinders enhanced situational awareness. The M1 Abrams, introduced in the 1980s, became a symbol of American technological prowess. It featured a powerful gas turbine engine, advanced armor, and a sophisticated fire control system. The Soviet T-72 and T-80 were also formidable machines. Section 8. Urban warfare and asymmetric threats, adapting to new battlefields. The end of the Cold War did not bring an end to conflict. Tanks have continued to see action in conflicts around the world. However, the nature of warfare has changed. Urban warfare has become increasingly common. Tanks face new threats in urban environments. They are vulnerable to ambushes, rocket-propelled grenades or RPGs, and improvised explosive devices or IEDs. Asymmetric warfare, where weaker opponents utilize unconventional tactics, poses additional challenges. Tank designers have responded to these threats. Urban warfare kits provide additional armor protection, improved situational awareness, and non-lethal weapons for crowd control. Active protection systems can intercept incoming missiles. Section 9. The future of armored warfare, challenges and opportunities. The future of tanks is a subject of intense debate among military experts and strategists. As technology advances at a rapid pace, the role of tanks on the battlefield is being constantly reassessed. Some argue that tanks are becoming obsolete in modern warfare. They believe that the traditional tank, with its heavy armor and large cannon, is no longer effective against the sophisticated weaponry of today. They point to the increasing effectiveness of anti-tank weapons, such as guided missiles and portable rocket launchers, which can penetrate even the thickest armor. Additionally, the growing use of drones, which can easily outmaneuver and target tanks from the air, poses a significant threat. On the other hand, there are those who maintain that tanks remain a crucial component of military strategy. They argue that tanks provide a unique combination of firepower, protection, and mobility that is unmatched by any other vehicle on the battlefield. Tanks can deliver powerful direct fire support to infantry units, break through enemy defenses, and hold strategic positions. Their ability to move across difficult terrain and withstand heavy fire makes them indispensable in many combat scenarios. Looking ahead, future tanks will likely incorporate advanced technologies to enhance their capabilities. Innovations such as improved armor materials, more powerful engines, and advanced targeting systems are expected to be integrated into new tank designs. Artificial intelligence could play a significant role in the future of tanks, enhancing situational awareness and automating some tasks. AI systems could assist in target identification, threat assessment, and even decision-making processes during combat. Drones could be deployed from tanks for reconnaissance missions, providing real-time intelligence on enemy positions and movements. They could also be used to attack targets that are beyond the reach of the tank's main gun. Active camouflage systems, which can change the appearance of the tank to blend in with its surroundings, could make tanks more difficult to detect and target. This would provide a significant tactical advantage on the battlefield. The tank has come a long way since its humble beginnings in the trenches of World War I. Originally designed to break the stalemate of trench warfare, tanks have evolved into highly sophisticated instruments of war. Over the decades, tank design has undergone numerous transformations, adapting to the changing nature of warfare. From the slow, lumbering behemoths of the early 20th century to the agile and heavily armed vehicles of today, tanks have continuously evolved to meet new challenges. Despite the challenges it faces, the tank is likely to remain a key element of military forces for many years to come. Its ability to adapt and incorporate new technologies ensures that it will continue to play a vital role in future conflicts.